So how do you want me to refer to you as we're chatting?
Jason's fine.
Just Jason?
Yeah.
Not Mr. Attorney Jason or anything?
No, nothing like that at all.
Alrighty. So I'll just get right to it, Jason. Why are you best suited to be the top attorney in Snohomish County? Whether, do you want to talk about your background, qualifications, experience?
Sure.
Yeah.
I think it's a great question. First, I'm lifelong residents. I grew up in Edmonds. I've raised my family in Snohomish County, between living in Edmonds, living in Everett. But as a kid, I learned to swim at Yost Park. We spent the summers up at Stanwood Command Island Fair. This is my home. And it means a lot to me to have an opportunity to expand the service to my community by running for prosecuting attorney. In terms of experience levels, I've been practicing law for over 25 years, and during that time, I spent that whole time as a deputy prosecuting attorney. Started in King County, went to Kitsap County, and got my dream job over 20 years ago at the Snohomish County Prosecuting Attorney's Office. And in that 25 years, I've had the opportunity to practice in municipal courts, district courts, superior courts, and federal court, as well as argued cases at the Court of Appeals and the State Supreme Court. And I just have a passion for the work that I get a chance to do, but more importantly, I get a chance to do that in the community that I love. Within my time at the Snohomish County Prosecuting Attorney's Office, I spent the last 14 years as the Chief Civil Deputy, helping lead the office, managing its $30 million budget, and helping supervise attorneys and being a part of the largest law firm in Snohomish County. The experience that I bring to the table comes from my knowledge of the criminal justice system that we have here in Snohomish County, but also it's from the confidence of those in Snohomish County that are looking to me to help lead the next chapter of Snohomish County's Prosecuting Attorney's Office. I'm really proud of the endorsements that I have from the Deputy Prosecuting Attorneys of the Criminal Division and Family Support Division, as well as the Deputy Sheriff's Association. These two groups are the folks that are on the front line that work every day to help make this community a safer and a better place. And I'm really proud of that endorsement. And I think that it's bringing that 25 years of experience working in a prosecuting attorney's office, understanding the ins and outs of county government, and understanding the importance of providing the best legal advice and the best prosecution services to our community.
So you've mentioned a couple of times, Jason, your dream job. Can you explain to me what motivated you, or I guess the story behind when you decided that this was the position you wanted to go for?
Well, it's the type of thing, if you talked to me a couple years ago, I hadn't really even contemplated on running for public office. I'm not a politician. I've never run for any office before. I've really been a career deputy prosecutor, and when I learned late last year that Adam Cornell wasn't seeking re-election, and I talked with a lot of the senior attorneys in the office, it became clear that it was time for me to apply my 25 years of experience and my leadership within the office to take it to the next level and help lead this office. In addition, from conversations I've had with elected leaders, from the county executive to members of the county council to mayors throughout this county, they're really looking for someone with my experience and background and understanding of how local government works to be able to help take us to this next level. The criminal justice system is a very difficult system right now. There are lots of issues that we're having to deal with, from homelessness, addiction, mental health. And they really, these leaders are looking to me to help work with them and partner with them to take us to the next level on how we're going to deal with returning our streets to really safe, vibrant communities.
Yeah, well, and on that note, what would your top 3 priorities be if elected to office?
Well, first and foremost, the top priority is a safe, livable community. It's what we all expect from our local government, and it's what we want. It's one of the reasons why I love this community, is from being here for so long, but recognizing the Snohomish County I grew up and started 50 plus years ago is not the same Snohomish County today. There's been tremendous growth, tremendous development, but also the difference in society that exists. When I was a kid in summers, I was one of those latchkey kids. And I could be turned out in the morning with my buddies, and we'd run through town and have a great time. And in fact, I remember fondly, it was one of my good friends across the street. His mom would call at about 5 o'clock, and she could, she had a very loud voice, and wherever we were in downtown Edmonds, we could hear her calling, Will, time for dinner, and we all knew to get on our bikes and hustle back up to the house, because that was the end of our day. That like great childhood, I don't think anyone would let their kids just go running around town today like we did back then. And so I think getting back to the concept of a safe, livable community, recognizing that I'm not Pollyannish enough to believe that we're going to actually get back to that exact same community I grew up in, but but I know that we need to do a better job with our communities now. If you walk down the streets, you'll see it every day, whether it's someone's dealing with a drug addiction, a mental health issue, or just helping someone with their issues of homelessness. We really need to partner with community resources. We need to work together to not just offer a handout, but a hand up to help people get back on their feet, to deal with their addiction issues, and to return to society.
Yeah.
So,
No, I was about to say that. I mean, I guess that's one priority, but there are several priorities that contribute to accomplishing that. So.
Absolutely, but that is the priority, I think, for any prosecuting attorney to try to do something to help make their community a better place. Second priority is transparency. I really believe that it's important for the citizens to have confidence in government, and part of that comes through transparency. And I've been working on the data collection initiative that the council authorized a little over a year ago to create a dashboard to look at our law and justice community and to look at issues of racial and ethnic disparities within our law and justice system. This has been a group effort, and by that I mean it's the sheriff and the prosecutor and the courts working with the county executive and the county council. But it's been led by our office, and I've been put in charge of helping lead this project, where I work with researchers from the Institute for State and Local Governance out of City University of New York. And so we meet every other week. We're working on identifying the data that we already collect in our databases from law enforcement and from the prosecutor's office. And we're going to work at taking that information and making it something that can actually be used with the public to better understand what we're doing and to better understand the impacts on our community. And I hope that this is just the beginning. I hope that this is version 1.0 and that we have many other versions down the road looking at other social service components to this. But I'm really proud of the work that we've done so far, but we need to take it to the next level to really open up that transparency so that citizens can really have a better understanding and better confidence in the work that we're doing. And then final third priority is really looking at the unbiased legal services that need to be provided by a prosecutor's office. It's important for people to have confidence in the legal services being provided, that they're not being based on political decisions, but they're being based on the facts and the law. And until we can be transparent so that they understand how the decision is being made, we need to make sure that politics don't come into that equation. And I think that's also why I've been able to gain the support that I have. In my 14 years as the Chief Civil Deputy, we've worked very hard to instill confidence in the independent elected officials in Snohomish County and the department heads that the legal advice that they're receiving has no politics involved. It's helping them achieve their policy goals, helping them achieve their business plans. The prosecuting attorney isn't elected to set the land use policy for Snohomish County. The county council and the county executive are elected to do that. But what they need is the best legal advice to help navigate those paths. And so it's important to have that unbiased legal services. But more importantly, when we get into the criminal justice system, people need to know that decisions being made to charge an individual with a crime are being made on the facts and the law and have nothing to do with politics. And that is something I learned a few prosecutors back, and it's something to this day is part of my ethos and instills in the advice and the services that we provide, that they need to be based on facts and law.
So essentially, how you're going to go about making sure that you are practicing law on behalf of all people, regardless of political affiliation. You plan on accomplishing that through government through transparency is going to be one of the big.
It's important to have the transparency. I also think communication and coordination is huge on that. And by that, I mean, we can't be hiding behind our office desks. We need to be involved in the community. And in conversations I've had with a lot of the mayors, we're already talking about what we can do if I'm elected, about sitting down, having regular monthly meetings so that we're being cooperative and collaborative and working together to help make sure that we're all sort of rowing the boat in the same direction. Imagine the Husky crew team, and you've got a bunch of people each with an oar. If they're not rowing in unison, then the boat's just going to go in circles and not go anywhere. And we need to make sure that we partner with our communities and our cities to make sure that we're working together, because that's the only way we're really going to be able to make a difference, because we have really big problems facing our streets, and we need to work together to try to address them.
Well, and so if I understand correctly, as top Snohomish County attorney, you do have some say when it comes to selecting, DAs and various members of your team. Is that fair to assess?
Absolutely. I think every prosecutor wants to make sure that the attorneys that they hire into their office come through them for the final decision. I think it's important because there's an ethical responsibility, obviously under our rules of professional conduct as an attorney. We need to make sure that people that we're bringing in are going to hold to the high standards that we expect of all deputy prosecuting attorneys.
Exactly, yeah. And I wanted to ask what kind of attributes, specific attributes you'd be looking for in future team members.
Well, first and foremost, I want someone who's really dedicated to public service. We need hardworking people. This is not an easy job. There are long nights, long hours, weekends that can take away when you're getting ready for trial. But we need the highest in ethics as well. It's absolutely critical that we approach this job as one that we recognize the huge responsibility that comes, because the decisions that are made by members of the prosecuting attorney's office affect so many lives. And it's not always going to make people happy, but they need to make sure they're acting with the utmost ethics. And within that, I want them to be focused on the idea of what can they do to help make their community a better place.
So you were talking before about some of the issues Snohomish County is facing, and one of them I don't think is any secret. There is a drug problem in Snohomish County, a lot of drug-related crime at least. And so my question is, how do you plan on reducing recidivism in Snohomish County?
And this is not a problem solely linked to Snohomish County. Unfortunately, I think we're seeing it across the United States. I think the opioid epidemic unleashed a different society upon us from folks who are dealing with and battling with addictions. And it expanded it. We had a drug problem before that, but we certainly have an expanded drug problem now. First and foremost is we really need to work at getting at the root cause of the issue, and that's addiction. When the Supreme Court issued the decision in Blake that essentially decriminalized the minor possessions of a controlled substance, it took away one of the tools that law enforcement had at reaching out and directing people into alternative programs. And some of those programs were drug court. Some of those programs are TAP and diversion program within the prosecuting attorney's office. These are all great programs because they focus at helping an individual by meeting them where they're at, by getting them the counseling, by getting them the addiction services they need, and by getting them back on their feet through resources. And that is one of the critical things we need to do, is focus on that addiction side. And within that, it's working at programs. And I think one of the things that we've seen happen within the last year was the initiation of the LEAD program here in Snohomish County. It's on a very limited basis. It was in the city of Lynnwood and the city of Everett. And both cities, through grants that were obtained by the prosecutor's office, have been able to basically divert individuals prior to even getting them into the criminal justice system by meeting where they're at in the streets, getting them hooked up with a counselor, a LEAD program counselor, who's going to work with them on those issues by getting them the services, by getting them the resources, and by getting the treatment help that they need. And I really think we're going to have to focus a lot on that area, because until we actually help somebody deal with the addiction process, then we're not treating them compassionately. And we're going to be in an endless do loop, and we need to figure a way out of that. It's not easy, and I know from conversations, from talking with Mayor Tolbert up in Arlington, from talking with Mayor Franklin here in Everett, and other mayors throughout the county, this is a critical problem that everyone is dealing with. And I think that through collaboration and cooperation and looking at ways of expanding programs, we can start making a dent in the problem that we're seeing. But we still have to have accountability within there. If somebody does not avail themselves of these opportunities, then there's going to have to be accountability to recognize that safety and community, let me rephrase that, but to be ensure that we are providing for community safety. And that's critical. We cannot sacrifice the safety of community for the idea of just letting folks, basically wander the streets drug addicted. And it's an unfortunate, and it's not a good thing. And there's no easy answers. I know the state's been working at trying to set up resources, but at the end of the day, my fear is if we don't do anything now, that it's just going to get worse, and we can't be that community. We need to step up. We certainly need to do a better job and make sure that we don't become, the Seattle North. These are difficult times and difficult questions and difficult problems, and I think number one is just being able to, like I said, I was just talking with Mayor Franklin last week, and it was just the concept of we need to start collaborating and just communicating to make sure that we're working in unison and not working opposite one another.
So I have one last question for you.
Absolutely.
Jason. So I need you to exercise a little bit of imagination here for this one, but imagine you just got done with like a 10-hour workday, and it's nighttime. You know you don't have enough time to make dinner before you go to bed, so you're gonna have to hit a drive-through. Where do you go, and what do you order?
Well, that is, I'd like to say it's a difficult question, but it's not. Here's the caveat here, is it's not necessarily a drive-through. We have, in my house, we love street tacos. And there is a great taco truck in Edmonds called the Flying Taco. Kyle, who is the chef who runs that thing, his smoked pork street taco is phenomenal. And so we'll go out of our way to find where his taco truck is set up if we are looking for takeout and quick food in that way. If he's not open, because of course it's taco truck, they're not always operating, then I think our go-to for fast food is probably Mod Pizza, because there's something for everybody. And we just, we try to not go to a lot of fast food, but that being said, with, with two working parents and a high school student and a college student, we find our way to restaurants just because time is of a premium. But we also, to the extent we can, we love to be able to sit down, bring the food home, and sit at the table and have a family meal to catch up on the day.
Right on. Well, of course, I have to have a follow-up question.
Oh, absolutely.
When you go to the taco truck, it's cool that you know Kyle on a first-name basis, by the way. It really shows how frequently you go there. But what is your go-to meat for taco, choice of meat?
Well, the go-to, I'll have to caveat this. Now, you caveat with a follow-up question. My go-to is the pollo, or the chicken street taco, along with the pork street taco. Because whatever he smokes the pork, I think it's slow roasted, and so you have this wonderful flavor out of that. But there are on times or on occasions when he'll also have his sort of Cajun shrimp tacos,
okay,
which are really good as well. But he doesn't always have the shrimp tacos. But when he does, and we make sure we get, I don't want to sound too bad here, but usually it's an order of chicken, an order of pork, and an order of shrimp.
Hey, you need variety sometimes.
And it's all wonderful.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely, Bo. It's been a
joining
pleasure.
me today, Jason. Appreciate it. Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to say about your campaign or anything?
I just want to say that the citizens are going to have an important choice coming up. I believe that there's a clear distinction. We have a candidate with 25 years of experience who's not a politician. It's my first run for office. And I'm doing it because I'm running in the community where I grew up, where I've raised my family, and where I hope to retire and spend the rest of my days. This is something that I didn't really start thinking I was going to do, but when one door opens, you get an opportunity, and this is an opportunity for me to extend my career in the office that I love and in the place I call home.
Perfect. Excellent.
All right.
We'll leave it there.
All right, Bo. Thank you very much.
Thank you.